Very pleased to be your moderator today. The magical evening began with a couple of really successful events in Ottawa, and it was in large part thanks to a man who I thought had a preposterous name called Kong Ku, which means in Vietnamese, of course, owl. And then I later discovered that I wasn't actually emailing Kong Ku, but I was emailing someone by the name of Ian Shaw, which is a profoundly ordinary name. He ended up being an incredible organizer and had asked me to come on board and help with this event. And so I'm very pleased to be here tonight with all of you. Thank you very much for coming out. This is a very big group for a literary reading. I don't know how many of you go out to literary readings, but the ones I usually go out to, there's usually me and one other person. And we have a number of luminaries here tonight, and I just want to, throughout the night, just call out to them. One of my favorite writers in the 80s was a wonderfully diverse and versatile writer, and he's here today. So I'd like to welcome Michael Ignatieff and his wife Susanna, of course. Thank you very much. I read The Needs of Strangers 3 times. Scar Tissue was what I thought one of the best novels. I think it was probably 87 or 88 that it came out. Remarkable work. So we'll get started. And I want to introduce the first writer. And the reason why this is called a magical evening, I myself didn't know until earlier today, but I kind of figured everything out. You see, it's a magical evening not because the writers come from the magical realist angle on writing, but there's a lot of real strange serendipities and a lot of strange things. You'll know from the first 3 writers, it covers everywhere from the Middle East to Southeast Asia. And one of the novels is about a diplomat, and then the second reader was a former diplomat, and he writes about Vietnam, and then the third writer is Vietnamese. So there's a lot of these kind of strange, beautiful connections that are being made tonight. The first writer is probably one of the most reclusive writers I've ever met. When I first read his novel, I hadn't known who he was, and I thought it was profound and very poetic. It's one of those works where it's going to take you a lot of time to get through. Ostensibly, it's a thriller of sorts. It's a story about a diplomat who is awaiting his execution. And he converses with mice and birds and takes on a very, very surreal feel. But you have to be able to read this work a little bit at a time because it drives at you. He's a very reclusive writer. Not since J.D. Salinger have I seen a reclusive writer like this. In fact, he may not actually even be here tonight. He's so reclusive. So whoever's reading tonight might not be him. But his novel is called Texas, and if you haven't read it, you must. It's incredibly powerful work. So our first reader today, Claudio Gaudio, if you care to come up, will be reading from Texas.